Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, neighbor was petty on property limits, now I'm going to make him replace his whole fence. My employer tried to steal $38 from me, so I made them pay $5,000. I don't know if I'm wrong for this, but before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbor was petty on property limits, now I'm going to make him replace his whole fence. When my contractor installed the fence around my property, he made a mistake and went over the property line by 4 centimeters, along my neighbor's hedge. My neighbor made a fuss of it, and even dragged us to court. We lost. Obviously, he was petty, but that's the law. However, we found out today that his dog is amongst the dangerous breeds, so his fence should be 2 m high, with a concrete base, around all of his property. Turns out the current one is 1 m 40, with no base. Guess what complaint I'm going to file with the police? I have 3 small kids who like to play in the yard, and he has trained his dog to bark whenever they go outside. He's a heinous guy, for real. Edit, I see quite a few people saying I encroached on his land. To be completely clear, we're talking 4 centimeters in a 10 m line, so that's 0.040.4 square meters. Bad math, asterisk. My contractor told me he wouldn't move it because that's in the margin of error for plans, and it's along a hedge. Edit to the edit, because I just woke up, brain no work good. My employer tried to steal $38 from me, so I made them pay $5,000. Back in 1998, I moved from Michigan to Virginia and took a job as an irrigation tech for a large regional landscape company. Within 6 months, I learned my mistake, as working as an irrigation tech for landscapers suck. You are treated as a necessary evil and always get the shitty end of the stick. I had heard through the grapevine that some area managers had screwed up a couple big maintenance contracts and that somehow they were going to try and make me the scapegoat. So I promptly went to the second contractor I had interviewed for originally and got a job there and put in a 1-week notice. My manager was really pressuring me to give them more notice until I told him that if he asked me one more time for more notice, that he would notice the following morning that I didn't work there anymore. So at the end of the week, I turned in my uniforms plus my reimbursement slip for $38 petty cash. I was told that I was getting nothing back on my uniforms and they weren't going to pay my $38. I was pissed, but just moved on. The following week, I contacted my local labor board and filed a complaint saying that the entire time I had worked for them I was being paid salary while I was a non-exempt employee. I asked to be paid all of my overtime. A few weeks go by and it works its way through the system, and I get a call from the corporation's controller. We have a meeting and go over everything with a bunch of back and forth, and he was trying to justify that I was really exempt and they didn't owe me anything until I really had enough of his shit. I told him straight up that we might disagree on how much they owe me, but I'll guarantee they owe me something. On top of that, I would make a point on every payday going from branch to branch of the company with a sign standing outside the gate telling every single non-exempt employee that they were screwing out of overtime, how they could sue the company. I ended up signing an NDA and got a check for $5,000 the following day. Within 2 months, that company and several others in the area began paying what they call Chinese overtime. They take your weekly salary and divide it by 40 for an hourly rate, and for every hour of overtime you work, you got half your rate. If you work your way through the math and whatnot and how the labor board determines your overtime in this case, it pretty much worked out correctly. So in summary, my employer tried to screw me out of $38 and I made them pay me $5,000. Update, I wanted to add a few things due to some of the comments. First off, if you don't like how I wrote it, then don't read it. I dictated this via voice to text sitting on a balcony overlooking a microbrewery at my brother-in-law's birthday party. There were also some questions about violating the NDA. What I signed was a statement that I wasn't going to share the info on overtime with other employees. There were no penalties written into the statement, and I don't even believe it was notarized. This company has long since been sold out to a national competitor. I don't know if I'm wrong for this, but So, I used to work at a retail store. It was my first retail job, and honestly, I liked it because of the people I got to meet and build connection with. I had regular customers whom I have developed deeper connections with. But as usual, I have had the difficulty ones too. On this fine day, I was put in the registers and we had a huge sales going on, so people have been buying like 30 to 100 items and the line was so long that we had to open the second sets of registers. I was having an oakish day but was putting on brave face for the customers. As I called up the next person online, I saw she had her daughter with her, and me being lover of kids, I waved and smiled, but the little girl gave me a dead angry look, so I figured she is angry with the world because her mommy didn't buy her anything. But as the mom was placing the items, the little girl grabbed the small round toy and placed it on the countertop, so I moved it to the side to scan the big items before scanning the small one. The girl picked it up and shoved it on my face, saying, "You better not put this in a bag, okay? You better not put in a bag, you got me. You better not put it, I'm warning you." I grew up with siblings and have met other children who act like they're giving you a warning but are super sweet, so you won't take them too seriously. This girl wasn't giving me that vibe, and the vibe I got was that she views me as some sort of servant, and the fact that her mom didn't sit well right with me. From that I realized this girl was just spoiled brat. Mind you, I was scanning about 50 items the mom bought, so they spent about 20 to 30 minutes with me, and this girl was kept repeating herself. So I decided today is the say she learned the consequences of her actions. After scanning all the items, I placed them in a big bag and then scanned the toy last, placed it in a small bag, tie it so tight, and then placed it in another bag, tied that and put in another bag. The girl got mad and was screaming at me, going, "I told you not to put it in a bag." I ignored and told her mom how some parents have came back saying the toy broke or got lost, so as an extra precautions thing, I like to help my customers get their item home in one piece, was a lie BTW, and the mom bought it. I still heard the girl screaming the same thing over and over again as they walked to the parking lot. This wasn't a big thing, but sometimes I remember this and just think about how parents need to raise their kids better than being a spoiled brats. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.